Hello, what's going on YouTube? Um, I just got through looking at some other YouTubers. I'm always flipping through channels, looking at different websites, and I mean seeing what the other posts. I have to admit that I do, and I look at my other African Black people, and I watch a lot of Black history stuff, you know. Um, I like it. I don't just try to uplift stuff reference to Black History Month or whatever you want to call it. I do that every day. You know what I mean? And I wants to do more. I wants to study more. I wants to understand more about our heritage. I wants to just study. You know what I mean? And just try to just do the best that I can is to live the life and speak the things that and be bold and speak. You know what I mean? And just speak and for uh stand up for our African people, stand up for us and you know proclaim the rights to be equal, in every way. I believe in spiritual things. I believe in God, but I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna stand here and be just stupid and ignorant. I don't think that we are supposed to. We should listen to and we supposed to forgive and all those different things, but we're not supposed to be we just not supposed to be just plain just ignorant with it. We supposed to use common sense with anything in this world. You got to use common sense with anything and everything that you are dealing with. You know what I mean? That's with anything, with eating. You got to, common sense to tell you. Your brain tells you when you didn't ate enough. You know what I mean? For instance, when you feel yourself getting full off of something, you're not going to just continue to just keep eating it and eating it and eating it because your brain gonna let you know, hey, it's enough, it's enough. I don't need no more. And that's the side of you that is common sense. I may not be the smartest person on YouTube or whatever, you know what I mean? But I do believe that if you use your common sense, that is what you need because you have a lot of people that has a lot of education, but they don't have common judgment. Now, let me say this too. I'm not just because I'm saying that common sense. I'm not trying to say that education is not important. Again, if you want to go to school and get all the education you can, I advocate to 480%. I advocate get all the education you can. But the problem is, if you allow the education is to control you to the point of where you don't use common sense with it, I I believe that common sense is the best one to have because it's good to be educated. Now, I'm not against being educated. The only thing that I'm against if you don't use common judgment and logic, logic and common sense. Or well, common sense is the main one. You know what I mean? Use common sense with anything, whether it's with the Bible, Christianity, or whatever it is. You're not supposed to be stupid and ignorant with nothing. And I will continue to advocate that because I think some educated people needs to be reminded. Just because you have education, that doesn't mean that you're better than anybody. Just because I have education or whatever, again, I advocate. There's nothing wrong with education, and you know what I mean. But we know that we are living in a society to where people use things and they use it the wrong way. There's nothing wrong with being smart, but when you use your knowledge, is to try to hurt people or take advantage of a person or whatever, then your knowledge is no longer no good. You know what I mean? It's like being okay, let me say this here. If I can make the comparison, if I'm allowed to. You can be a good worker on somebody's job. Somebody can say, "Ooh, he's the best worker on the job," or whatever. You know what I mean? But if I'm at work and all I'm concerned about is my work, and I'm not worried about the other person work, and at the end of the day, everybody that's working for that same company or representing that company, whether you be a supervisor, whether you be a manager, or whatever it is, or whether you be a inspector, or whatever it is that um, you are supposed to, if you are, if you only concerned about your work, and you're not only concerned, you making the job harder for other people. I'm just making a generalization, a general statement. I'm just making a general statement. Like I said, if I said it that right the first time. If you are just all I'm concerned about is just getting my work done, and I ain't worried about the next person. I'm just throwing things around and making it harder for the next person or whatever, then guess what? That means that is not in the eyes of common sense, you're no longer a good worker. That is not the evidence and the character. Don't no, let me say that, excuse me. That is not the characteristics of a good worker. If you got people that is working hard to everybody working together, and I'm coming up there just throwing my dishes, I'm just making up something, y'all. This is just me just making general statements to use common sense. You can be the most educated person in the world, but if you do not use common sense, then guess what? Your education and you being a good worker is no good at all. It doesn't mean that I'm a good worker. If I'm just making other people's work harder or whatever, then I don't care how good of a worker I am. That means that I am not a very smart worker. That is somebody that does not use common sense. That is somebody that does not have good morals about themselves. If you turn around, or if I'm turning around and I'm working, that'd be like me working against myself. I can make my job harder, or I can make it easier. The evidence of there's a difference between being a good worker and a smart worker. A smart worker is not going to do nothing that's going to make his job much harder. A smart worker is going to do everything he can is to make his job easy, and not only make his job, what makes him a lot smarter is if he turn around and make other people's job easy by the way that he treat himself and work hard, and not make the work hard for the next person. That is the characteristics, to me, that is the characteristics of a good worker. You are considered a good worker when you help make the load lighter for the next employee or whatever. Because um, yeah, that is evidence of a good worker. You know what I mean? So don't work against yourself. Even if I'm working and making my job easy and making the other person's job harder, that means that I'm still working against myself, and I am not considered a smart worker if I do that. It's wrong, and it's not smart to work like that. You're not working wise. You're working against the other person, and you're working against yourself at the same time. And it shows the lack of morals. It shows a lack of disrespect when you turn around, or when I turn around and I'm only concerned about getting my job done and saying, forget the other person. I'm only worried about me. And that is a sign and a form of selfishness. And you're not supposed to do that. What the video is all about, the video is all about not only self-love, but the video is all about love others the way that you want to be treated. Love others like you want somebody to treat you. Treat the other person the way you want to be treated. That's what it's all about in this world. Treating others the way you want to be treated. Love each and every individual the same, not just love one group or whatever more than the other one, but love everyone the same. In other words, what I'm saying is that uh, we all, as African people, we all are equal, and to love each other the same way that I would expect for you to give me concern and love me in return. That is the same way that I should love you as my African people and others too. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll be back with more. Much, much love to all of you and my African people. All right, I'm out.